Okay, Mastermind with Neil Schwartz today and our special guest, Valeria, who comes to us from a town just outside of Toronto, Canada. Help me welcome Valeria. Woo! All right, good job. Good job, good job. Valeria and I actually met for the first time at the Mike Ferry event. We had a really interesting time sharing a couple of ideas and things that are going on. Found out a lot of cool things about her then and had a chance to chat with her briefly just before our call. So Valeria, if you wouldn't just do a real quick Reader's Digest version, where you're from, how long in the business, etc., then we'll get started here, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Neil. So I wasn't actually, now I live in Canada, close to Toronto. Oakville and Mississauga. I work in Oakville and Mississauga. I moved to Canada 15 years ago, and at that time I barely could speak English based on school knowledges. And yes, I got my real estate license in 2015. 3 years, I didn't quite understand why I got it. Really doesn't work a lot by mistake. I made 70,000 1 year. And then in 2018, after all these things that has happened to market, I did zero deals in the whole year, but I was so lucky I was introduced by a mortgage broker to Mike Ferry system. And I didn't know who is him, what does he teach, absolutely no idea. And I came to this retreat, it was in Toronto. I was completely impressed by every word he said, and I joined the coaching. I asked for the discount, but they never gave it to me. So anyway, I joined, and since that, the life has changed completely. Last year, I work in Toronto. It's highly competitive market, and I work in a high-end area. My average price is 1.5 and up. And my average commission check is 37,000 and plus. So last year I made 500, 800, and 500, $584,000. This year I'm on track for 750.
So about 25 transactions last year and on track for about 30 deals this year.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you started in the bit, so first of all, you came from Russia, correct?
Yes, I was born and raised in Moscow in Russia.
Got it. Okay, I don't know if Hunter's on here, but one of our guys, no, maybe not. Anyway, we actually do, our inside salesperson works physically from Moscow.
Oh, really?
It's a fascinating story. We've interviewed him before. We'll talk about that another time, but I think you'll really get a kick out of him. He's quite a guy. Anyway, so you started in 2015. You made no money to speak of, whatever. And you said to me that you made a lot of mistakes. In fact, I think your quote to me was, no matter how many mistakes anyone else made, you made more.
Yes, and that's absolutely right. And that's what I was thinking, what value can I bring to your mastermind? Because you guys have spoken to such great agents. And I was thinking what I can tell you. And I can tell you absolutely 100% sure, if someone thinks you're doing something wrong, you do a lot of mistake, I just want to tell you, there was for sure one person who did way more mistake and was regretting about everything at one time. It was me. And if it makes you feel better, here we are.
So when you say that, you had joined Mike Ferry coaching and got a coach and decided for ego purposes, etc., that you could do better by rewriting the scripts, by making them more you, by, if the coach said, do this, you would do that, because no one knew better than Valeria. Is that kind of what kind of happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me, because at that time I had a lot of ego. And yeah, absolutely. And I thought I know better. I had business background, and I thought I know. And first thing what I did, I remember I received the script book, and I just rewrote the script. And guess what? They did not work.
At least you're being upfront and honest about it. Everybody else rewrites the scripts, but they say they don't.
That's why I told to everyone that they feel better.
Exactly. Very, very good. So, so you did this for a couple of years, right?
Yes, so I've been honestly struggling with the coaching system for 2 years. I did approximately a little bit over 100,000 a year. And at the end of second year, I was about to quit because, every time I came to the retreat, I saw people on the panel and I thought, oh my goodness, they are not real. It's not real people. I would never, ever be like them. It's just no chance. And once it was a COVID and we had online retreat, and one agent, I don't remember his name, he made a lot of money and he told about his experience, how he got to the panel, how he achieved the success. And I realized it was not easy to him. And I could just feel how it was difficult for him. And it made me so much inspiration because I thought, if he could do it, why I can't? And then it started.
So when you say, and then it started, tell us, well, let me just back you up just a moment. When you got started, share with me what your husband told you to do.
Oh, yeah. So when I got the license, basically I work in high-end area, predominantly native English speaker lives in this area with very high income. And my husband said, you better go to a Russian community because you don't have any chance to work here. And I was so competitive and I was so anxious to prove he's wrong. So I started to door knock in these areas because I just wanted to get a listing from Canadian person. And that's what I got. And that was great when I brought a listing to him.
So you're doing 20, 30 transactions in a predominantly English-speaking area that your husband already told you a couple of years ago you wouldn't make a nickel in.
Yeah.
And you're making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in that neighborhood.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. You still speaking to him?
Yes, of course. Every night, every evening.
Good. Excellent. Good job. Good job. Okay. So talk to me. I mean, how did you break into this high-end area? I mean, this is a neighborhood that you live in or you live close to, correct?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So you have a little knowledge of the proximity. Did you preview property? Did you go to open houses? Valeria, how'd you break in?
So first of all, I got this, I wanted to prove my husband. And then I started to think how I can achieve it. Because when we came, when new immigrants, we don't have any relatives in this country. We don't have any friends, no one. I don't have COI friends, nobody. And I thought that door knocking or cold calling is going to be the easiest way to get into the business. And first I started to cold calling. Because of my accent, it wasn't great return. And most response I received just go to the English classes first. So, and I decided that
they were not nice.
Who cares? They just did actually a nice thing to me because they made me thinking how I want to get this listing signed with the Canadian people.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Okay, good job.
Yeah, so, and I decided to go just in front of them, in front of the door, because when you're in front of people, it's easy to understand. And my accent is not that huge. That's what I did, and it worked very well.
Obviously. And by the way, I don't think you have a big accent.
Yeah, it still exists, but it's part of me.
Exactly. Exactly. So did you have to preview property during this period of time to get product knowledge or what?
Yes, I do it constantly. I preview properties all the time, and I think it's very important. I do
Okay.
preview properties. And before even every listing appointment, whatever we have competitors, I always go and see them right before the appointment. Yeah.
Good for you. Good job. So are you role playing the scripts and dialogues? Did you do that before? Do you still do that now?
I do it every day religiously. And and I'm very lucky because I belong to mastermind groups. One mastermind group, it's a listening presentation practicing. So we do it over Zoom. And it's helped me a lot because actually I got listings just by presenting over Zoom. And the second mastermind group, and Gonzalo Riesco, he is from mastermind group, he's here. We do objection handling, but addressing to certain personality types.
Right.
So we work on objection and address them to different personality styles, how we can handle it better.
Okay, good. So you work on that stuff all the time.
Yes, and every morning I submit, I chant the script, I chant listen presentation, we have WhatsApp chat, and I submit recording every day. Actually, two recordings, one of listening presentation and the other one what I want to work, some additional.
So let me ask you a question. You're highly educated. You were a civil engineer in Russia. You had to be smart to do stuff like that. You came to America, you and your husband. Do you have children?
Yes, I have two children.
Got it. What ages?
So my daughter, she's turning 21 in this August, and my son, he's 15.
Are they going to follow in the business?
I don't know. It's their choice.
Your husband, is he a businessman or like an engineer also, or maybe a doctor?
Oh, no, he's also in the business. Yeah.
Oh, he's in the real estate business?
No, he's not in the real estate business.
Got it. Okay. So when you came here and you decided to rewrite all the scripts and dialogues, excuse me. Wow, that was weird. And decided to do that. What shifted gears and you woke up and said, I need to do what they're asking me to do versus what I want to do? What was the deciding moment or the aha for you?
First of all, I lost a couple of appointments and I did not sign them. And that's how I started to realize. And then I was lucky, I do everyday role play with a group. And one of my role play partner, she is very, very experienced agent. She agreed to do listing presentation with me. And we did it together on Zoom. And when I saw it, it was so unbelievable. You know, I felt that I'm like underground and she is over the moon. And I just realized how it works because it went through me. I felt how I feel and I was ready to sign whatever she asked me.
Well, that's great. So your ego started to leave you, and and how was that experience? I mean, look, you're an accomplished woman. You're good at what you do. How did you overcome the ego issues?
No, it's not that hard because I'm in mastermind groups and all participants, they are great people and they are so knowledgeable, so experienced. There is no place for my ego anymore. And I just understand that.
Valeria, we get this question all the time. How did you get into a mastermind group? I mean, when you started to go into it, you really didn't have any business to speak of, and you didn't have a lot of experience. How'd you do this?
I believe this is absolutely beauty of microferry system, because people, even though they highly accomplished agent, they still talk to you. And what happened when this agent, very experienced agent, Robin Johnson, they did a role play with me. So then we decided to make our mastermind for a listing presentation. And she is the organizer of this group. And now we have great group of people, and we've been together for 2 years and getting better and better.
Right. And it takes time to build that group, right?
Yes, absolutely. It takes time. And yeah, and now I am responsible for the other mastermind group where we're working on objections, because I've been struggling with versatility. And now it's much better because I can ask my mastermind group partners how they feel about it. Because honestly, being a driver, I'm completely afraid of amiable people. And
Really?
yeah, so, oh yeah.
I'm amiable. Are you afraid of me?
You don't need to sign with me anything. That's why. Yeah.
Okay, good point. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's go to some questions from our group first of all. You open for a few questions here?
Oh, of course.
All right, so questions for Valeria. Questions for Valeria. Raise your hand or unmute. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Tell us how you work in your mindset. What do you do for that?
Good question.
That's a great question. Of course, I do affirmations, and I believe affirmations help, but it's really inside of me, because if I know I want it, I just go and get it. So I don't know. Basically, to maintain it, I do affirmations, but first of all, I really need to want it, and then I get it.
So Valeria, let me ask you a question. Is that a driver mentality or is that an immigrant mentality?
I think it's most maybe my family mentality. That's how I was raised. I
Okay.
remember when I was 3 years old and I was fooling around with my mother, and I started to say, I don't want, I cannot. She told me, remember for all your life that there is no such word in our language. You cannot, you don't want. There is only one word, must. So that's how I was raised.
And you've done that your whole life.
Yes. So for me, it's easy to understand that if you have to do, you just go and get it.
Figure it out and do it. God,
Yeah.
Great. Okay, other questions for Valeria? Other questions? Raise your hand or just jump in there.
Valeria.
Betty has her hand up. I'll go after her.
Angel, go ahead, and then I'll.
Valeria, what advice would you give yourself if you could go back to when you first started? What kind of advice would you give her? Or would you say no advice, just let her, learn from her mistakes and learn that way? Or would you give yourself advice looking back at your career from now to like when you first started?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for the question. I would say, first of all, get rid of your ego and just listen what people tell you and just do it.
Your ego is not your amigo. Great question. Great answer.
We open up. Okay.
Got it. Betty, your question.
Hi. So when you headed out to start knocking on doors, did you just kind of go out there all by yourself, Lone Ranger, with your own script? Or did you have like a partner and a kind of a plan, or you just started knocking? What did you do?
So basically, when I started, it was a little bit challenging, but what I realized, for example, if you put yourself in most uncomfortable situation, which means it mostly also uncomfortable for all your competition, and our market is extremely competitive. For example, in Toronto, we have 75,000 agents, and no, we had 75,000 deals last year, and 72,000 registered agents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, for example, if you have a very bad weather, minus 20, minus 30 degrees, it's all snow, there is no transportation, how likely anybody gonna be on the street? It's only me. And they all open the door and everybody speaks. And at that time, it's my days because I could get like 40, 45 contacts and they all speak with me because there is nothing to do. They can go to work.
Right.
And they see that I'm cold. They feel themselves very nice because they're in a warm house and I'm outside.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I love that, Valeria. I love that. Congratulations. Good for you. All right. Other questions for Valeria?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
You mentioned that you had an aha moment of when you lost an appointment. What were some of the other aha moments when something finally dinged in your head and you said, hey, just get rid of this or do this, or, what were some of the other things?
That I became better. That's something that made me thinking to become better.
Yes.
I would say last year I was on Mike Ferry retreat and I heard about customer service. Before, I did not pay so much attention on the customer service because what I see here, not people, they are not, they don't care, they do transaction and it's done. And then I was thinking about what this agent said, and that's kind of, I thought, what? People, they pay me, when I started to think, they paid me year income for the deal. I received their year income and I thought how much they should work to make this money. Basically, they have to go to work every day, no excuses, to make this money. And I said, really? And I don't want to give them any extra calls. And when I think this, and now for me, I would say I cannot overcall my clients, even though we are on the listing. And in Toronto market, our homes, they sell very quickly. 5 days, you're done. I call them every day because they are worried. And again, it's 1 minute of my time. Why should I not to do it? So I become really obsessed with the customer service and with the contact with my clients because that's what they need.
I see. Okay, wonderful. That's
Tyrone,
great.
that's a
wonderful.
great question. I wanted to just comment really quick. She cannot overcall her clients. Do I have that correct? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I think that's probably it. We could do a mic drop right there. No better advice than that. Good for you. Congratulations. Tyrone, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that was it. That was the answer. That's one of them. That's great. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I can definitely relate to cold weather.
Well, not her kind of cold weather.
Yes, I can.
Okay, well.
All right.
Okay,
Good job.
other questions? Charity, did you have a question? Other
Actually,
questions?
how did you know that? Can you hear me
Well, I don't know.
okay?
It's just based on how you were fooling with the phone.
I have a question. What's your best advice for those who are still on busy wife and mom detail?
Great question.
That's a great question that I've been struggling constantly with, because for me, family is family and I can't compromise on it. So I always try to juggle with it and have some schedule. And of course, I accommodate my children's needs first. That's my personal, because I understand they're going to grow up very quick and I can make more money after, but I will never bring that time back when they wanted to speak with me and wanted to see me. So I would say, make your schedule strong, and I always build my schedule around my children's needs. That's how I try
You
to
built your schedule around your children's needs.
Yeah, I mean, when they're at school, they don't need me. So which means I
Right.
have 8 hours. Then my son, he's a competitive athlete, so I need to drive him. So I just cross out these hours that I need to spend for driving. But when he's on his trainings, he doesn't need me. So I can sit down in my car and just give some calls or just go to door knock.
So would you say that you put family first in your schedule and then you put your business up commitments and then you put your prospecting and your appointment setting? Is that kind of how that would lay out?
No. For me, prospecting, it's untouchable, and everybody knows this in my family. So it's just untouchable. When I leave home, they don't call me unless something terrible happens. And they know until noon, they don't call me. They
Okay,
can text, so it's untouchable. If there is an appointment, it's untouchable. They will figure it out how to do it. But if I can, I would say, if I can give them my time, I would love to.
I see. Got it. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Okay, other questions? Go ahead, Josie.
Valeria, congratulations. You've
Thank
done a
you,
great
Josie.
job. Are you door knocking more, prospecting, or phone calling more?
You
As
mean
I said,
now?
Yeah, now.
all the time door knocking. To be honest with you, this week, it's very tough week for me because I promised my coach I'm going to call all my database and I don't door knock. So it's tough, but usually I enjoy doing this. So it brings me best result. So when I go out and
And
if I
cold? Is it around your listings, or is it cold door knocking around houses you've looked at? How do you pick where you prospect?
I have 3 areas where I mostly work and where I'm well known. Now it's door knocking is such an enjoyable thing because I just approach the door and everybody knows me. It's so much fun. I just speak with people. It's so nice. And if, for example, I have a goal to find a house for someone else, something, then I go to the area where they want to be.
Good. Thank you.
So that's a great question. So let me ask you a question. So this higher end area that you work, how many homes are in that area?
The last time I would say it's approximately 10,000.
10,000. So it's almost impossible for you to door knock every home, or is that the goal? How does that work for you?
Actually, it's possible. I do like 40 contacts per day. So I just have the plan. I go street by street, and yeah.
And then and you hit the 10,000 once a year, twice a year?
I would say it's still once a year. I wish I would do more, but because I need to go to some other areas,
Got it.
so that's what happened. And if I may just tell a funny story to Betty regarding where I door knock. It's really 1 minute. Do we have a time?
Of course.
Yeah, but it's regarding how to door knock. It was COVID. It was very funny story. It was COVID, and we were lucky we were allowed to door knock. So I came with a mask, with gloves, door knocked, put the doorbell ring, nobody answered. So then I door knock and I never pick up the phone. And then I saw on my phone 5 or 6 calls from my family, from my children and my husband. I thought it's something terrible. I called them and they said, where are you? Police officer just came to our door. And he asked you to give him a call. So what happened, people who I knocked at the door, maybe I left so quickly, I don't know what makes them so upset. They found out where my car parked. They called the police officer and they complained. So the guy found where I live and he came.
Huh?
So I had a very nice conversation with this police officer. He said that I complied the requirements. I asked him if he wants to sell the house or if he knows someone who wants to sell a house, and I just put 1 plus contact to my list. So don't be afraid.
Love it. It's a great story. Thank you for sharing. Other questions for Valeria? Other questions? Who else? Raise your hand or just jump in, please.
So,
So-
okay, when you door knock, are you just passing out your card? Are you passing out a postcard?
Oh, actually, I have a booklet like this. I'll show it. I just came. So I have big Remarks folder because, you know, when you go with Remarks, they know what I'm going to talking about, that I'm not Bell representative, that I'm not a charity. So if they don't want to talk with an agent, I don't waste my time. They just don't open the door, I leave. And then I have, for example, here my 2 sold listings, and I just attach my card and give them.
That looks like a copy of the multiple listing.
Yeah, I print my multiple listing and I attach my card. And that's it.
So
Not
you're not spending a lot of money on marketing.
Of course not. Why should I?
Multiple listing is what we do.
exactly.
You
Good
know,
stuff.
Valeria, those areas you door knock, are they gated or they're open? How do you handle that?
in Canada, it's all open. They all open, no problem. And again, Josie, it's a great question about marketing. And I tried, believe me, I tried to send all these flyers. I had zero. I spent $1,000 and I have zero. I had one and he didn't sign with me because he wanted to list for $1,000 or whatever. And I give it's almost free marketing and I make some money on this.
Got it. Good stuff. All right. Gonzalo, did you get your question answered?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Good. All right. Other questions for Valeria? Other
Yes,
questions?
can
Go
I
ahead,
ask,
Gloria.
do you go back to those houses that you door knocked and then you follow up?
All the time, 100%.
How many times do you go back? Do you go back twice, 3 times, or to those homes that you door knocked?
Depends on their motivation. Actually, last year I knocked at the door and I made 60,000 just because I knocked at the right moment. They were ready. And sometimes I had the client, I met her. It was almost my first cold calling client, cold calling person, like 4 years ago. And she sold this year. You never know, right?
I see. But you don't go to all those houses all over again, do you? Do you
No.
like? Okay.
What I do, unless if I know they're gonna sell very, very quickly and I don't have that much time and they don't pick up the phone, then I go. Other than that, if it's just people who said, oh, we're gonna sell in the future, I put them in database C and I just put them in the routine follow-up.
I see.
So good question, Gloria. Thank you, Valeria. The thought I have is, so you door knock the high end, you door knock in the middle of winter when it's 30 degrees below,
Yeah.
and you do a nice amount of business and English isn't your first language and you're not dealing with English speaking clients for the most part. That's a recipe for not getting a lot of deals done. And yet here you are making a small fortune. This is, in your adopted country. So this is a great story. I love it. So Valeria, you make it sound easy. Is it really that easy, or are you just a special person?
When you do what you like, then it's kind of enjoyable process. So of course we all have ups and downs, but if you enjoy what you're doing, of course, because today I might find someone very rude or something, but tomorrow I will find beautiful people that I'm going to be enjoying the company forever.
Yeah, this has been
You
great.
never know. So it's very nice business and you meet people. How can I meet all of them? And even
No.
how can I meet you guys, all of you, just because of the business?
Well, we posted your name, phone number, and email address to make sure that if there's any referral business going your way, that we would let you know. So absolutely.
Hey, Neil, can I ask another question?
Of course, Gloria, please.
How do you react to like when you door knock and they have a negative reaction?
Gloria, that's a great question. And thank you so much for bringing that up. You know what I realized before, when I didn't know the scripts well, and probably I came with a low energy, everybody was able to beat me up. Now, I never have anything like this. I just come, I do my scripts, I have a lot of energy. I have never heard anything negative for, I believe, for 2 years.
So
They just, people, they feel if they can beat you up, they will. If they feel you're not going to beat you up, they not even try.
So, now that you know the scripts, you don't let the negative, the negative response get into you or affect you.
Now, Gloria, I'm a very, very strong believer in scripts, and that's why I know them verbatim. And can you find any single line in scripts where they have the advantage to tell you something wrong? Basically, what I realized, the moment something goes wrong, only at the moment you went off the script. If you're on the script, nothing gonna wrong. Nothing gonna be wrong.
How long have you
Wow.
done the script? Have you memorized all of them? And
Yeah, as I said, I chant listing presentation every day. I submit it to the chat every single day. And I believe for me, it's really, really huge, because now I don't even think what I should say on listing presentation, and I have chance to watch people. So I don't think, I just tell and I watch for them.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. That is fantastic. Good job. Excellent. Other questions of Valeria? Anyone else here? I got some. So, all right. So first of all, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Let's give Valeria a big hand. Woo! All right. Fantastic. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Good job. Good job.
Really cool. Valeria, what we do now is we're going to take a few minutes. And if you have a hard stop at 1 o'clock, I totally get it. No, don't worry about it at all. But we're going to take a few minutes and kind of go around the group and ask questions of what they learned today and from this talk. So if you like to hang around, great. If you can't, we totally understand it. All right. So again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Okay. That's fantastic. What a story. What we learned today.
Don't let other people's opinions defer your success.
Great point. Thank you.
Knowing
Good.
scripts builds confidence.
Knowing your script builds confidence. Knowledge equals confidence. Knowledge equals confidence. Josie, go ahead.
Just like you said, it's their second language. All she did and does is practice, 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 so that she knows the scripts and does the most basic thing we were taught to do, which is door knock.
Right. Isn't that interesting? Good. And preview property. I heard that. I heard it. It was there. Maria.
It's all about attitude.
It's still pending.
It is all about attitude. Absolutely. By the way,
say anything negative at all.
By the way, Maria, is your husband also a commercial appraiser?
No, he's not.
Okay, thanks. Okay, what
Very
else did we
determined.
learn today?
Very determined.
Betty, go ahead.
As a wife and a mom with a 15-year-old, the whole work balance thing, build the schedule around the children's schedule, around the children's needs, that was important. Just balance.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good advice. Emma, go ahead.
The same thing. Very important to schedule your time around your family time, so there will not be a conflict. And also the learning the scripts.
You got to learn scripts. And by the way, I don't know if any of you guys know this. Well, a good number of you are on that call every morning. from 8 to 9 every morning. We have scripts practice. You're guaranteed to have a role play partner. There's never going to not be a role play partner there. So get there. Okay. Might as well at some point finally decide. You know, we have Valeria who said, look, for 2 years, she tried to even rewrite the scripts. You know, it was her job to rewrite them and change them and do something different. And it took her 2 years of making not a lot of money, if any at all. And she finally drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, jumped into it, and look what happened to her. Isn't that interesting? Good stuff. What else do we learn today, Robert?
What's your excuse? What was what I learned. I mean, you know, like you said, Neil, she's not from Canada. English is not her first language. It's below zero in winter. You know, she didn't come from a sales real estate type of family or background or anything like that. But she learned the scripts. She gets out there in the cold weather. And, you know, we complain in Southern California that it's too hot outside. You know, and yet it's, you know, negative 30. So sometimes we need someone like her to remind ourselves of what is our excuse as to why we're not learning the scripts. Why are we not doing the activities? Because our story is probably not nearly as difficult as hers in terms of her location and things like that.
Absolutely. And the one thing that keeps resonating in my head is that her husband told her, this is never going to work. This is never going to work. Okay. What else do we learn here today? Frank, you got something, buddy?
Well, she doesn't, I got one takeaway. She didn't really invest a lot in advertisement. She just goes up with the MLS printing, her business card, and it's all mouthpiece from there. She just goes and speaks her mind.
My suspicion is, that's right, Angel, thank you. My suspicion is, Valeria, correct me if I'm wrong, that you did in the first 2 years spend some money because you thought that would get you business, correct?
Absolutely right. I tried to put a billboard, you know, to send these mass emails, you know, nice flyers. Zero. As I said, I got one call, and I wish I wouldn't go there. Such a wasting of time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So what she did was, for that first 2 years, she made all the mistakes. She spent the money. She took the time. She rewrote the scripts, et cetera, et cetera. It's all there for you. You don't have to do any of that. And yet, and she admits it, her ego was so big that she knew better. She knew better. And in fact, once she surrendered to the system, it exploded for her in a really good way, right, Valeria? Am I correct?
Absolutely right. And I just wanted to tell you, don't beat yourself up, because my problem was then I started to beat myself. Now you don't need to do that because you have me. I did this part for you guys. Just go.
Good job. Excellent. All right. Unmute yourselves.
Neil, what was your takeaway?
Well, I wrote down here, doors. She cannot overcall her clients. And then it gave me an idea for doing something with the listing presentation as a group. So stand by group,
Also,
stand by.
Neil, you know, what she said to everybody about having her schedule with her children and all that. We have probably how many we have agents now? 700. So 500 new agents who haven't gone through your scheduling classes.
That is true.
Something to look forward to, guys.
Them or me to look forward to?
No, for them to look forward to
Oh,
your presentation.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Thank you. All right. I'll work that out with Robert.
Is
Okay.
there door knocking role plays?
Well, is there door knocking role plays?
I've never done a door knock at all. I'm really new.
Okay. Well, we can walk you through that, but you know, if you're looking for the script, I'm just joking, Angel. Don't get mad at me.
Oh,
Of what to say if the client's not home at the door, we have some scripts for that. Now I'm teasing you, buddy. Okay. All right. I've been hanging around Mike Ferry for too long. That was one of the very first things he asked me. He says, well, somebody asked this in the group, what do you say if the client's not home?
wow. No, I meant like if you knock and they're there, or do you say like, are you the owner? Are you the renter? I don't know. I'm kind of.
Yeah, no. It's a very good question. I would knock on the door and I would just say, look, I don't know if you know this or not, but you know, I'm working the neighborhood and there was a house that sold down the street. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and it sold for $295,000. And we know when one sells, 4 or 5 others are going to sell. So I'm kind of curious, when do you plan on moving? And they'll tell you they're a tenant, or they'll tell you, you know, what they are. Got it?
Oh, okay. That's
So you're just listening for what they're going to tell you after you introduce yourself.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. But if you need some help with that, let us know. I'll role play it with you. I know that script pretty well because that just came right off the top of my head. How many of you can do that? How many of you can do the expired script? How many of you can do most of the listing presentation by memory in front of people? I know a lot of you can, but if you can't, now remember, and I actually said this morning, I don't make my living from a listing presentation, a live listing presentation with a live client anymore, okay? I haven't done that for lots of years. My job, Robert's job, is to teach you how to do it and do it at a high level. So here's the deal. If you aren't as good as we are, how the hell are you going to make any money?
Yeah.
Because this is not how we make a living. Does this make sense?
Makes sense to me.
What?
It makes sense to me.
Oh, okay. Good job. All right. Unmute yourselves. Let's give Valeria a big hand.
Yay.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Hey, Valeria, we really appreciate this. And I'm going to connect Hunter up with you. You'll really get it. Hunter, are you on this call yet?
No, I don't think he's here.
So Robert, we got to connect her up with Hunter because he's in Moscow, right, Robert? Where he
Yes.
lives? Yeah.
Yep.
So he's in Moscow now.
Oh, lucky him. I would love to connect with him. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a fun guy. All right, everybody. Thank you, Robert. Who's up for the calling right now?
So our afternoon